I'm surprised there wasn't like Karateo's cereal, with like
Dude.
now with more crane kicks. Like that would have sold like a motherfucker.
Holy shit, I would have totally bought the shit out of that.
I had fucking Nintendo cereal. I had orange juice cereal. Like,
oh, those were so nasty, bro.
where the fuck were the Karateos,
Yeah,
dude?
yeah.
They were nasty.
Yeah, those are nasty.
I think William Zabka needs to come out with a cereal, a karate cereal.
Yeah, called Zabbos, man. I would totally buy some Zabbos.
Yeah, and they just come in like a sleek, matte finish black box with the Cobra Kai symbol on them.
My God, yes, a fucking Cobra Kai cereal would be so sweet. Welcome to the show, folks. This week, we're talking about the 80s classic, Just One of the Guys. I have my Miyagi-Do t-shirt on. I've got my Casio calculator watch on. I'm fully 80'd up, and I'm ready to rock, dude.
Ready to go.
Yeah, this cult classic.
I've got my He-Man
stars,
undies on
yeah,
and my lunchbox.
This stars Joyce Heiser and Zabs, and we'll get into that later. Let's do it. High level, what's up?
I forgot this movie existed, or I'm from a parallel universe where there's a movie that's almost identical to this that I remember. That's not this.
Is it the Willy Millie one?
Maybe. But when we were talking about this recently, I was like, yeah, I remember that movie. And then you guys were talking about it. I was like, I don't remember that. But yeah, this
Really?
is definitely the movie. Yeah, I don't know. My brain is broken. But this is a fucking weird ass movie. And it's
awesome, man.
So firmly in the really weird 80s movie camp that I had fun watching it for sure. And it's just like the fucking weirdest premise ever.
It is the most 80s movie ever, too, man.
It's such a weird premise, dude.
Right? It's great.
And I loved that, like, I'm jumping the shark or jumping the gun or whatever. I'm jumping something here, but like I'm a girl. He's like, no, you're not. But I've got tits. And just like so pulls her tits out. I was just like, what the fuck,
nice,
man?
Dude. Yes, jump straight to the end.
Just give up the whole movie right now. Why don't you?
Thanks, dude.
I mean, it's funny though. Like, fuck me, it's funny.
Is it though?
I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
You know what's not funny is when you jump to the end at the beginning of the show.
Whatever, man.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
That's it. It was. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I wasn't like in love with the rewatch, but like it was like, oh yeah, this movie. This is so weird. I think the weirdness of it is what is enjoyable because it's like you just don't make them like that anymore, and it's kind of 80s-ish, I guess.
Oh my God. Yeah.
This one is like, it's one of those late night kind of 80s, hey, Beastmasters on kind of movies where there was like a collection of them, and there were a plethora for sure. Like there was like this one, there was like Dream a Little Dream with the Coreys. There was like Nightbreed. Like there were certain movies that they played at night where like, in my youthful or adolescent insomnia, I would kind of wake up in the middle of the night and like just go down and like watch HBO.
Nice.
This is one of those movies.
Yes, it is.
That's exactly what this is.
It had been a very long time since I'd seen it.
Wow.
And it's it's not bad. It's not great.
Yeah,
but it's not bad. It's amusing.
Yeah, it's a 80s
it's nostalgic
high school movie, dude. I mean,
Yes.
It's
yeah. To be fair, the entire time I kept feeling like this was like a after school time slot kind of family sitcom, but blue. Like a little blue, like a little like naughty, like Snaps kept like commenting that she felt like it should have a laugh track.
Totally.
And I'm inclined to agree.
That would be funny to cut one in.
That would.
So
that'd be a nice recut idea.
It's got that kind of vibe.
So I saw this movie in the 80s and I loved it, and like Zabs and like the whole, it's just so goofy and funny and cool. And I've seen it a million times, and it's at least a yearly once watch for me. I own a copy of it, not to anybody's surprise, I'm sure. And I love this movie. It's just obviously a lot of nostalgia, but it's like a great 80s high school movie. There's so many 80s high school movies, man, and this was This was a good one that went under the radar, but then kind of became a cult hit later. So I'm super familiar with it, and this is to the extent that as I watched it last night, I was like, oh shit, that's where I got that from, because there's things from this movie that I say all the time. Still, I realize. So yeah, I really like this movie. This is a fun romp, as it always is. It's loosely based on Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, and I mean like super loose. I couldn't even believe that comparison was made, but whatever.
Who the fuck made that comparison?
Close.
Whatever. These stupid people on the internet. So like I don't know. It's
some
just,
academic.
Whatever. It's a fun
with
movie,
a smoking
man.
jacket.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, dude. Chick dresses up like a guy. Then she finds out that her article still sucks. It's great,
Then she finds out she's in love with this random dude.
Totally,
Just
man.
discover that she's a shitty writer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that. It happens really. I'm gonna become a dude and prove them wrong. He's like, yeah, you fucking suck.
I love when she takes it to the second teacher, and he's like, look, just because you're a guy doesn't mean you can't be sensitive. I was like, that's the arrow to the heart right there, folks.
Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. I don't know. I'm just going to start with this, man. I don't know where this movie would be without the protagonist, dude. This was the first time I've ever heard this. This is part of William Zabka's trilogy of bullies movies, okay? And I never thought about it this way, but he did do a trilogy of bully movies, and it was Karate Kid, this, and then Back to School. And we've talked about Back to School. So, I don't know. He was sort of a integral part and a really good antagonist, man. And I don't know where we'd be without him, man. We would have no movie, dude, because he's so good. He's so good at being a prick. He was so good at being a prick. He was the king of being a prick in the 80s, man. Holy shit.
It really was, man.
Right?
I actually like.
Hold on, let me get my fingerless gloves.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
bro.
Right?
Break them out. The white ones, dude. The white ones.
I love that he breaks him out with his tux too. God damn,
Dude.
Of course he has them. Surprised he didn't carry some like rosin around with him, Like,
yeah, exactly.
that stuff to make sure he gets a really good grip.
I'll take an off-screen death because I was like, oh, the dude. I was like, that's that dude, the dude from One Crazy Summer.
Oh,
Nope.
Wow.
Wow, man.
I completely whiffed.
Dude, that is like a nuclear fire.
Of course,
death,
it's Johnny
bro.
from Karate Kid, man.
You
I think I was
kept
getting
that
the
to
One Crazy
yourself.
Summer Back to School. I know. I don't know what's going on, man. I got to stop smoking so much crack.
You are, dude. You're really off your game, bro. Go ahead.
Really. I imagine you guys have at least watched some of that Cobra shit in part. I haven't watched any of it. Cobra Kai.
I watched the whole first season, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard it's good.
I'm gonna watch the rest of it. I think I might have watched part of season 2 as well. I'm not sure.
I like that he's getting some work, man. Like he's just such a quintessential 80s head.
I like
He's
that
good.
too.
He's good in it.
Yeah, he is really
Yeah,
good
totally.
at it. Yeah.
Oh, and the Cobra one? Yeah, nice.
In Cobra Kai, yeah. And I like to see him and Machio kind of picking up the legacy of those movies, man, because they were so popular, dude. People still, even before the show came out, people were always talking about those movies, man. Always those movies came up,
I mean, they were classics at the time.
Exactly. And they are classics. And it's cool that the two of them like formed up like Voltron and like, grabbed it and like took the legacy to a new place and continued the story in a cool way, man. I think that was really cool.
Is it fair to say that I think this is fair to say that the Karate Kid franchise is like a proto extreme sports movie?
Dude,
Maybe.
you got something there. Sort of.
I mean, it's in, I don't know. It's kind of a similar kind of thing to it's like a similar trope to the extreme sports movie, where like the dude needs to crane kick his way out of fucking trouble at the end.
Yeah, okay. In that,
just to bomb the fucking hill.
I wouldn't say it's proto only because Rad came out before this, and Rad was like a BMX movie that is a cult movie.
Yeah,
it's a great 80s cult movie, and it's totally like, it is extreme sports, but BMX bikes are extreme, bro. I don't know if you know this or not.
I didn't know that actually.
In a world of BMX extremism.
So BMX extremism. It's just like a bunch of hardcore BMX people.
Totally, man.
Down with skateboarding and shit.
Yeah,
Cool.
between that and BMX Bandits starring Nicole Kidman, I mean, you know.
Nicole Kidman, dude.
Shit, it was hot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe it's definitely a cousin to extreme sports, though.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, absolutely.
I think, yeah.
A cousin. It's not. It isn't, but it's adjacent.
Well, it was also like I think like, you know, martial arts as a thing when we were kids was like on the East Coast wasn't so much of a thing, but like in California it was like, you know, much bigger thing, clearly. And like I remember seeing that movie and being like, dude, like this is like a whole thing. How cool is this, man? You know, like
I started karate class immediately after.
well, there you go, man. I mean,
yeah.
I was like, I could be a karate hero, dude. You know, like
I could be a karate
hero. Kid. So I think, yeah, I don't know. It was just cool. It kind of like opened up this whole like sort of not secret world, but like, you know, world of like what goes on the left coast, man, of like karate and karate tournaments and like
climbing cliffs to get bonsai trees.
Totally, man. And everybody was like into it,
Whoa.
dude. Yeah.
I'm surprised there wasn't like Karateo's cereal, you know, with like now with more crane kicks. Like that would have sold like a motherfucker.
Holy shit, I would have totally bought the shit.
I had
out
fucking
of that.
Nintendo cereal. I had orange juice cereal. Like,
oh,
I mean,
those were so
where the
nasty,
fuck were the
bro.
Karateos,
Yeah,
dude?
yeah.
They were nasty.
Yeah, those are nasty.
I think William Zabka needs to come out with a cereal,
Yeah,
a karate cereal.
Called Zabos, man. I would totally buy some Zabos.
Yeah, and they just come in like a sleek, matte finish black box with the Cobra Kai symbol on them.
My God, yes, a fucking Cobra Kai cereal would be so sweet. And our next project.
Zabka is it. Like everyone was good in this, and you know Joyce Heiser did a great job passing as a awkward teenage Elvis Costello.
Bro, she was 30 when this movie came out.
Yeah, she's 27 when this came out, which is ridiculous. But it's the 80s shit, man. The fucking nerds in this movie, dude. I'm in love with those two
nerds
dudes.
Were the best nerds ever.
The fucking reptile guy. Like, there's just so much 80s goodness in here
totally.
that just keeps you going, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Zabka is like the linchpin. He's the most tropey thing ever. And I love how 80s out it was. Like that's the reason this thing still has juice.
Totally, man. And you know, not only does he rock those white fingerless gloves, Ben, but a couple of times he's rocking a headband to go with them, man. Which I was just like, yes.
Yes.
I mean,
then you flip some tables.
Totally.
I mean, the fact that he's like lecturing on bullying the whole time, you know, like
I know,
the way
right?
that his character interacts with the world is just
like he's so upset.
good.
And
the fact that he would be rewarded for it by everyone, you know,
in
like
the 80s he
prom
would,
king kinda
yes.
stuff.
And,
like you would, yeah.
And he was so obsessed with working out, dude, to the point that I mean that's where his whole routine came from, man. Was that you know, you have to work every possible muscle, every possible minute, dude. So it's lift tables, you know, it's give atomic wedgies to freshmen, dude, you know, do the pussy toss.
Everybody likes tossing a good pussy.
Wait, so what was the third bully movie?
Back to School.
Back to School.
Because
Karate Kid.
that was in college, but he was on the diving team and he had like that long feathered hair, dude.
That's right.
His name was he had a totally douchey name. It was Chaz Osborne. It was great.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
As the podcast's only Chad, it's a good name. It's a good 80s name.
Chaz.
Yeah, Chaz. He
ties the room together, man.
He really does, dude. And when I think about all three of those movies, and I think about him in that bully role, you know, it's like it's so easy to just kind of like, you know, Xerox that performance, but like he didn't Xerox that performance. I mean, there's some similarities because he's Zabs, you know, and he's just got a special knack for being a douche. But when I think about like Back to School and then this and then the Karate Kid, like it's three very distinct, different characters, man. I feel like there was a Greg Toland at every high school, man.
No doubt about it.
He even says at the beginning, he's like, yeah, that's Greg Toland. He kind of runs the school.
The one kind of like interesting piece, I'm being an asshole here, but that's kind of my job.
That's fine.
Like the movie's stupid, you know, like the whole thing is stupid, but it's fun. It's enjoyable. It's like, it's good. You know, like it's a fun stupid, you know, like Beekeeper was a fun stupid.
Sure.
But like when she goes to school as a dude,
Terry the he, yeah.
and like is walking up to the school and like she runs her other school. She is the most, you know, she's the fucking Molly Ringwald of school or whatever.
Totally.
The fuck, you know, like
yes, she's the Deborah Strobridge of the other school. Yeah.
And so she goes up to this other school and has no idea how to she has no idea how to not run the school. You know? So she's like awkwardly standing there and like trying to get herself into shit and gets herself pussy tossed, you know, like
totally.
I liked that moment.
Yes.
You know, the moment of like, you're not the fucking king of the school and having to kind of like fight her way back into the good graces of the classmates and shit. Like I enjoyed that bit. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I agree. I like that too, man. I don't know. She had one like sort of, her secret weapon was that as a girl, she knew how to dress and she knew what she liked. She knew it looked good on girls and guys. So like she had the killer diller wardrobe, man, straight from the beginning. And that sort of gave her like a ton of cred, street cred.
No doubt.
Lunchroom cred, cafeteria cred, you know? Right?
I'm so glad that I'm like decades removed from that fucking horror show that was High School.
Oh my God. I could not agree more. But this was not like high school. This is movie high school. So, you know, it was like, it kind of amplified the horribleness and the great parts. You know what I mean? I think that what we experienced was more of like a baseline, you know, like this is a little more
baseline of horribleness.
Sort of, yeah, this is sort of more dynamic, you know. I don't know.
It's pretty fucking bad, man.
Yeah. What, high school?
Yeah. I don't know. This is reasonably accurate.
No, I think it's accurate. It just, you know, they just pump up. The bad shit is like horrible and like, you know. I mean, I got an atomic wedgie when I was a freshman, dude, and got hung on a gym locker.
Hell yeah.
You know, like, I mean.
You still have it,
I don't know.
You never were able to get rid of it. It's still there.
I don't know what's more 80s than that, man, but, you know.
That's pretty 80s.
We didn't have a we didn't have a guy that was like so extreme like Greg Toland.
There wasn't one guy. There were multiple.
There were lots of guys.
Multiple guys.
There were.
Dude, there was this one dude who got the nickname, I think like it was like Puick, but what it was actually was Pulik, because this one bully dude knocked him to the ground and then like dug his finger in his ass and then stuck it in his mouth like in the gym locker room. Like it was just, like there was some just vicious shit. Just some vicious shit that went on in those goddamn locker rooms, dude.
Yeah.
But they made it into a fun romp here. All that trauma was turned into a fun movie.
They did, and just to use that as a segue into the locker room scene. The locker room scene is like, I don't know what they did, but man, they made it look so horrible. The whole experience in the locker room, dude. Like firstly, everybody in this movie is 30. Okay. So like there's no like high school age or even like high school age adjacent, you know, actors in this movie, man. But there's like, you know, dudes walking around in jocks with fucking hairy buns out, man. And you got the two nerds are kind of like sitting there like going back and forth. I hate Jim. I really hate Jim, you know? And then you get the shower squad dude running through, like tossing people in the shower. Oh, it was so gross, man. That gave me sort of the heebie-jeebies, man.
And the coach, bro.
Oh my God, the bowling, totally.
But so much of this movie was so close to reality, while being miles away from reality that it's a bit brain breaky.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, man. It's like, you know, it's a good account of the experience, but like, you know, amplified in certain places, man. You know, like some of the horrible things are amplified to be more horrible, and some of the good things are amplified to be, you know, gooder.
You know what? This is like Shakespeare.
Yeah, right. Totally like Shakespeare.
I had completely forgotten 20 years gone how vital a topic of conversation the locker room was, and whether or not someone snuck into the opposing locker room. Like, that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I find it quite hilarious. It's like, oh, did you hear that fucking Chris so-and-so snuck into the girls' locker room? And everyone's like, oh my God.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Like, okay. I don't know. Just how small were our worlds back then, dude?
So small, man, because that was a major coup, man, was sneaking into the girls' locker room. It was a bit.
It's a huge thing.
Joyce Heiser, man, she's super, super cute, man. And I didn't know this, but it's sort of an early nugget. I guess at the time of this movie, well, firstly, this was her one and only like lead feature film. Okay. And she's done a bunch of work after that in TV and whatnot, but she was dating Bruce Springsteen at the time. And
that's the weirdest thing ever.
Isn't that the most random thing ever? I was like, I read that. I was like, I almost didn't believe it, dude.
I'm going to nugget your nugget.
Do it, please.
Because she was at a party.
Oh, boy.
And Bruce Springsteen spotted her and was like, she's cute. And he asked Gary Busey to introduce them.
Get out of here.
True story.
Wow. How would Gary...
It's great, though. Come on.
How did Gary Busey even know her, man?
What are you asking ChatGPT? How did Gary Busey know Joyce Heiser? She's gorgeous. And she did a good job. Like,
no, I think she did great, man. She was really funny as Terry. Like, I mean, they're both Terry, but like, she was really funny. Like when she was a guy, like the way she leaned into it, and like all the little things that she did were hysterical, man. You know, I mean, they're still funny to me. You know, just like the voice and like the, you know, like hitting.
Just two guys leaning against urinals, talking
about chicks
girls
and shit like that. You know, like, hey, you know, I love when. He's like,
definitely
what are you
channeling Ralph Macchio for sure?
It's kind of, man.
Totally.
He's like, what are you doing after school? She was like, he's like, well, you know, I was gonna work on my car, maybe throw the football around a little bit, but yeah, I can hang out.
I'll have another brewski.
Let me just make sure that you know that I'm a guy. I'm gonna tell you all the guy things I'm gonna do after school, man. I don't know. It was just really funny to me. You know, all that stuff was really funny. When he like bangs on the towel dispenser after he goes into the men's room for the first time.
But it's like things that chick thinks that guys do, you know? Like she went so far over the top.
Totally. That was what was great about it.
The opening scene in this where it's just like makes it really clear that Joyce Heiser is a woman by having her just like prancing around in her panties in her bedroom.
I know. And bathing suits. I know.
There's so much of her in her underwear in this fucking movie. It's just ridiculous. And 80s as fuck.
So 80s, dude.
With Luke Skywalker at home coming over, the college.
Oh, Lee McCloskey, dude. Totally. He was like kind of the quintessential like 80s like sort of douchey, hunky guy, man. He was in a whole bunch of, well, yeah, I don't know. He was in a lot of movies, dude. He did a couple of terrible ones too, man. Like Hamburger, the movie.
Wait, who's this? Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin the boyfriend, yeah. And like while Joyce Heiser and everybody else was 30, he had to be 40. And he was
like fucking gray
hair. He was playing a college person, you know. They were high school people and he was playing a college person, man. He looked like he'd had a corporate gig for, 10 years already. Right? That was funny. Yeah, so I don't know. I really like the job that she does in this, man. She, like you said, Chad, she puts a ton of energy into it and it pays off. It's funny, dude. You know, it's like it's funny and it's sort of fish out of the water kind of way. And those things that she does that it's like, what chicks think guys do is just great, man. I don't know. It's just good. It's really good. She shows some funny stuff. Like when there's that big showdown in the cafeteria between Rick and Toland, and like she like gets right in front of Toland and she's like trying to do this like tough guy
bobbing and weaving.
bobbing and weaving, exactly. And Toland like doesn't even doesn't even pay any attention to her whatsoever. It's so funny.
It's the classic like hand on head while the kid with short arm swings kind of thing.
Yeah, very much like that. Exactly. So yeah, she was really, really excellent in this. Let's talk about Buddy, dude. The brother.
Yeah, even he didn't know how guys acted.
Dude, are you kidding me? I thought he was like the quintessential like sort of kid like
Hornball?
like horn. Would you say hornball or cornball?
Hornball.
Yeah, hornball. He's like the total like quintessential hornball guy, 15-year-old from the 80s, dude. It was just God, it was so hysterical, man. I just thought he was so funny. And I really like that actor, man. He's really, really funny.
He's great.
Yeah, his name is Billy Jane. He's been in a lot of stuff. The thing that I remember him the most from, aside from this movie, is Parker Lewis Can't Lose, man.
Parker Lewis.
I really like that. Had Abraham Ben Ruby in it as well, and I really like him too. And he was very similarly funny in that movie, but I don't know. I think he kind of, in a lot of places, steals the show in this movie. He's really, really funny, dude. Just all that ridiculous guy shit is just so funny, dude. Like hanging the centerfolds up on the wall, dude. Like all that stuff. Like trying to teach Terry how to be a guy. It was just great. Really, really funny.
The ball scratching.
Yeah, the ball scratching scene is
yeah.
fantastic, man.
Gotta move stuff around. Let some air in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I might introduce that ball shift move into my repertoire as an ironic thing to do in real life that no one will get except for you guys.
Dude.
Where you like, grab and then do like that hip swing thing that he did.
Yeah, that hip swing shift is so good, man. That definitely needs to make a comeback, like, dude.
No one has ever done that before in the history of humanity.
So we need to start it, not bring it back, but we need to initialize it, you know?
Like Bruce Smith will have the ball shift?
Yeah, the ball shift, man. All balls itch. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
So good, man.
Yeah. Such a fucking hornball.
Yeah, great though, man. He was really, really funny. You know,
I think the thing I like best about his character arc, if you will, is the like. Yeah, he's just like.
It's funny.
So fucking horny. He's like hitting on. He'll fuck a lamppost or whatever, and like. By the end of it, he has a conversation with Terry like towards the end where he's just like, "What's wrong with me?" And she's like, "Nothing. You're nice." Instead of just being like, "You're good, dude. Just lay fucking off a little bit." You're just, you're like, "Hi, my name is Buddy. You want to go fuck right now?" It's like, dude, turn down the afterburners, bro. That's the problem. Just chill the fuck out a little bit. And I just love that nobody tells him. He's just like fucking full throttle the whole time.
Oh my god! Like when his study buddy comes over, and
oh my god, yeah,
he's got this silk robe on, dude, with the pipe, dude. It's so funny, he's so cheesy and stupid, dude. And the whole time she's talking about like, all these like complex calculus things, and he's just like blowing in her ear, and like, oh my god, it was great. It was like intentionally cringy funny, you know what I mean? It was just, god, it was great, man.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt, man.
Yeah, really like Billy Jane, man. He's funny, is really, really funny. I don't know,
he's funny.
He's got a funny way about him too, man. That's the way it was in Parker Lewis, man. He was also in now I didn't know this, somewhat of a nuggie. He was in, I watched the show Silver Spoons with Ricky Schroeder when I was a kid, and he was in that as a regular. I don't remember that.
Was he?
But he was, and I forgot about this, he was a regular on the A-Team, dude. And I was like, yo.
No shit.
Yes.
Boy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty big deal, bro.
What did he do in the 8? Was he like the kid that gets stuck in the well? Like what?
No, he was a regular.
He
had a regular role on that whole show for the entire run. And I don't remember what the name was.
No shit.
I had it. Hang on, I can find it. All I need to do.
Hang on.
I just need to eject Trapper John, MD.
Trapper Keeper,
MD. He got a lot of work, man. He was really busy in the 80s. Dude. Oh, my God. Oh, this is a death, bro. I totally called this out when we did the Beastmaster episode. He played the young Dar in Beastmaster, bro. God damn it.
Right. Yeah.
That is a major oversight. Oh no, he only did 2 episodes. Sorry. I saw it earlier somewhere else.
He was in the van every episode.
I know, but that's the way the reference made it sound when I read it from another source earlier. Sorry about that.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
So worth it. It was really worth it.
Such a waste of time. Whatever. This whole show is a waste of time. Anyway, so yeah, Billy Jane, really funny dude.
Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams.
Everybody.
Really, really funny dude. So anyway, who else? We talked a little bit about Lee McCloskey. We talked about Terry.
What about the nerds, dude?
Dude,
I love those guys so hard.
With the compasses as Starfleet badges.
Dude.
Yeah, dude. And I like that they were like kind of beloved and yet not. Like, you know, they're in the class like meat mooping, like fucking Mork and Mindying around and whatever. And like the class isn't like, fuck you. They're like, haha, those guys are kind of funny.
Yeah. And they also had like, I mean, okay, so this movie was directed by a woman, which I really like because I think that's what kind of...
And written by 75 guys.
I know, right? But I think that's kind of what made it work and work well. And so she said in an interview that they improvised most of that. Like she gave them like a basic framework to work within, and that they improvised most of that. And one of those nerds is Aaron Gross, he was in a bunch of stuff, man, including the horrible, we've talked about it recently a bunch, Soul Man with he played C. Thomas Howell's.
I love how often that comes up in
I know, it's
conversation.
so weird, but like he played C. Thomas Howell's best buddy in Soul Man, and he had a lot of
wacky late night HBO movies.
Yeah, and he was one of those wacky 80s actors, dude, and he was kind of all over the place, dude, but
There's Ari Gross, Arye, by the way.
I don't think so. I think it is Aaron Gross.
I'm looking at it.
I know I've seen it as Ari, but I've also seen it as Aaron
but he like
as well.
had another name. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't give a shit. It's just for the sake of not getting messages about it.
Chad.
I do care, sir.
So anyway,
those guys were fucking great.
They were great. They were like, I mean, my brother and I, we had that whole nerd routine that they did down, dude, including the little like planetary theme song that they do at one point, dude, and they're like frackle-free, that whole thing, you know, it was awesome, man. I just
when they scream when they're separated in the gym.
I know, man.
Yeah. Did you guys read that bit that they were supposed to be Trekkies, but they couldn't get the rights to use it because Paramount owned it or something? So I like that they made it their own thing.
Yeah. I like that.
We have Trek at home, sort of.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It does make it.
I was going to refer to them as the Thermians throughout our recording.
Very much.
They're kind of like better than that. They're kind of like
they are
their own. Like they made their own thing. I think that was kind of like proto Galaxy Quest almost. You know, like which I think is pretty sharp and deserves like I don't know. They're kind of like the king nerds, man, of like all these like 80s sort of movies, man. I mean, nobody did it better than these two guys, dude. They had like a whole thing, man, and it was freaking awesome, dude. Like when they explained why they didn't do their homework, dude, I thought that was the funniest shit ever. Certainly when I was younger.
The only other nerds that even come close would be like Booger and some of the actual nerds from the movie that's about nerds, you know?
Yeah,
like these guys were just
definitely.
like side pieces and they just killed it.
They just did, and they kind of stole the show, man. I mean, they always jumped out
and Reptile.
Yeah.
Like I like the extra
Sherpico, man,
nerd,
totally,
dude,
man. With all his little creatures, dude. No. That's not Snowball. This is Snowball. That's Lunch. And when they're in the classroom and like the way they like just totally 100%ed their characters, man, was just super impressive, man, and it just made it even better, dude. Like when he's like, "Our mission on your planet is to study human behavioral patterns," and he's like so serious when he says it, dude.
No doubt.
So great. I love it. So good. And fun fact.
And then they Devo out at the prom, dude.
Oh yeah, totally, man. Didn't they have like some sort of light up tux action going on?
There was some serious Devo shit going on.
Right.
It's another example of a movie that would be half a movie without the random ass supporting cast stuff. Like, I'm glad they spent the time.
Yeah, I think the in that interview with Lisa Gottlieb, the director, she was saying that the studio gave her a lot of leeway. So like she was all about casting a lot of like unknown people and fresh faces, and they got some good stuff because of that. I think that's
Seems
cool.
like the only known person really was Zabka because he did Karate Kid the year before. Well, might not even have been out yet at the time.
Yeah, but we also had Sherilyn Fenn, dude, who was,
Yeah, I don't know her. She seems to be fucking legendary, though.
She is.
Like,
she's
literally legendary.
She's legendary because of Twin Peaks. I think that's like her.
Yeah.
That's what really like made her legendary, because Twin Peaks is like super cult,
The cultiest of movies.
And shows too, man. The show was just like, people were just crazy into that show and still are to a degree. And and she was kind of everywhere at this point, like she did The Wraith with Charlie Sheen right around this time. And, I think all those things together, man, she was just, super popular. So I would say her and Zabs for sure, man.
Considering the subject matter and the script and the idea and how dumb it is, did a good job.
Yeah. Really good job, man.
It's the kind of movie you turn on when you're in an insomnia moment and don't turn off. You're like, yeah, I'll watch this.
Totally. Or if
granted, you didn't have much other option, but you still would.
Or if you're like me, you just watch it once a year anyway.
For fun, yeah. On your laser disc.
Yeah, on my laser disc, exactly. All right, what else?
I don't know, bits and bobs.
Yeah, sure.
We haven't even talked about the actual movie.
Well, what is there to talk about? I mean, she dresses up like a guy.
I'm going to gripe with Kev a little bit here. I just find it really weird that like Terry becomes best buds with Rick.
Why?
Well, that's not the weird bit. Like, cool, they're buds. And then like helps Rick get the most popular girl. Cool. And then at the prom comes out and says, "I love you," kisses him in front of the class, shows him her tits because it's actually a girl. And it's like a couple days later, Rick's like, "I know that I thought you were a guy the whole time, but I love you too." Like, it's pretty fucking weird.
You're right. That is weird.
Like, it's not weird in the modern setting where, there's a lot more fluidity of, whether people are fucking in the LGBTQ space or whatever. Like, do whatever makes you happy, bro. I don't give a fuck. But
sure.
It's kind of a little bit odd,
No, it's weird. I never thought about that.
And through that lens, I come to read that this was a very popular film in that community and in, trans community or LGBTQ community, because it's an example of a school that kind of doesn't really give a shit about the fact that this is happening. It's like, I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that it has like a bit of a place in hearts of people that were, in a similar spot for different reasons back in the 80s. Like, that's cool. But it's also kind of an oddball thing, I guess. I don't know. So it's not really a gripe. It's just kind of an observation on the strangeness.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, that's cool, but it's, I don't know. Like, it's not really like nobody's changing their gender. I mean, it's like
yeah, it's not like Priscilla Queen of the Desert.
It's really more of a
Tootsie or whatever.
Yeah, it's more of a drag situation than anything. But this is really more like, let me dress up like the other sex to try to get a job that I don't think I'm going to get because they're biased towards men. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of cool.
It's the like girl with glasses that when she takes her glasses off is a Victoria's Secret model kind of thing, but just with cross dressing.
That is like kind of like a Tootsie thing.
Yeah, right? I don't know why. He even says in the movie, he goes, "Who are you, Tootsie?" When she's like does the first sort of round of like, baseball cap bullshit and the hey, is your brother home? Or whatever.
So I don't know. I like that it's. I mean, I like that it's a cult classic, and I also like that it's a separate cult classic for people in the LGBT space. Like that's cool. I like it. I like that it has its place in 80s school movies. I like that it has its place in fringy movies. So it's just a bit of a strange thing that Rick was like, okay, let's date. Like it's just I don't know.
I like the journalism teacher in the first school, Raymaker. I don't know. I've seen that guy in many, many things, and I can't.
Did you see that video I sent you?
Oh, what? Oh, motherfucker. I just got it. I just got it. Oh, my God, dude. Oh,
dude, he's Heinrich Himmler in Man in the High Castle.
Such a death, dude. Holy shit.
I also was like, where the fuck do I know this guy from? And I looked him up, and then sure enough, he's fucking old Himmler.
Oh, that's right. He played the old German guy in the Avengers as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's fluent in German.
Yeah.
He's a PhD in fucking German.
Well, he's also he's a high school journalism teacher, dude. He should know German.
That's fair enough.
Heinrich Himmler, totally, man. Oh my God. I don't know how that got past me. That is such a neutron bomb of a death, bro. Good Lord. All right. So for the folks at home,
I thought you'd like that.
Chad sent me a scene from Man in the High Castle with Heinrich Himmler, and he said, something to the effect of like, this nug's for you, Kev, or something like that. And so I watched the whole scene twice, and I was like, maybe there was something he forgot to send. I don't know. And of course, it was because Mr. Raymaker from this movie plays Heinrich Himmler in Man in the High Castle and does a absolutely stellar job, I might add. So
stellar.
That's why.
Stellar job.
That is why I am dead.
You're dead.
My name's Kev, and I'm dead.
Yeah, Bert.
I'm just gonna call that a Himmler death, bro.
He's a very recognizable guy, but
totally.
Maybe it's just as Himmler.
From Chelsea, Mass. How about that?
Jason from Bourne.
Jason from Bourne. What else? What else we got? Bits and bobs.
I liked the best friend, Denise, constantly getting harassed by Buddy and her just like constantly shooting him down. And then she ends up with the guitarist from the fucking band or whatever.
I love how, I liked her too. I like how she was just sort of like the quintessential, like, nothing in my love life is right 80s, like high school person, chick, whatever.
And cute as shit too, so like shouldn't have had any issues.
Exactly, but she's like, oh, this is like the fourth guy that's asked me out today, and they're all lame.
She used to be overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just threw that line in there. It's like, none of these guys know I used to be fat.
3/4 of the way through the movie, they're like, yeah, there's no reason she should be having a hard time. Like we gotta like,
yeah, exactly.
Post hoc, like throw something out there and make it
super cute blonde Bob with blue eyes. Like she would have done just fine. He used to be fat. Oh, I love it. It's just genius writing.
This doesn't count as a bit or a Bob, but for some reason I had a memory of the character Rick Morehouse actually dancing like James Brown to James Brown.
He kind of did. Like he had a couple of James Brown moves in there, but you remember him actually like doing like a bit of a sequence or something?
Yeah, just like I remember, I vaguely remember him being caught, like, totally getting down to James Brown, like James Brown, and being like, oh shit,
I thought so too. It was like a Boombada Y moment, like Jaws, or because I distinctly remember there being like some kind of dancing scene as well.
I kind of do too, yeah.
Right? And I like a fun nugget, a little bit early nugget is that James Brown actually came in and worked on dance moves with him for like 3 days or something like that, which I was like, wow, that's pretty
hence
cool.
They should have been dancing.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's random.
Yeah.
I love that they got James fucking Brown to come and hang out with the guy.
I know, but it's
must have given him like an 8-ball or something. Like, we'll give you an 8-ball if you come hang out with this kid, teach him how to dance. Okay.
You know how like in A Man in the High Castle, it's like they're seeing the films of like essentially another dimension where like things happen differently.
Yeah.
Is that what's happening here, dude? Because this is like the fourth time that
we did when Harambe was killed, we went into a parallel universe. Yes, like it's a known thing.
This is the fourth time that we've encountered this anomaly, man, or possibly the fifth time. We took the Jaws one, where I distinctly remember the girl with the braces, and then we have the actual Bumbata Y, and then we had this, and what was the other one?
I don't know if there was another one.
I remember something else, and I can't remember. I just said it a minute ago, and I don't remember what it is now. But it's so bizarre, man. I totally remember there being some kind of dancing scene.
Yeah, I had it in my head that like he had fired up the James Brown in his room and was like totally getting down, and like Terry walked in on him and like
right.
I was like, oh, nice moves. And he was like, oh. No,
yeah,
there.
right. But
like I swear to God that happened. But
but why wouldn't they do that? Like that's the most thing to do in this kind of a movie. They should have done it. They did it. They did it, and they deleted it, and now I can't see it, and I'm pissed.
But they also happened. Like the way it dopes out in this viewing that I watched, and I have like a DVD copy. Like I watched it on DVD, and like
you like I didn't watch any of this online bullshit. I watched the real thing, hard copy.
I've been doing.
I watched it in 480p.
It was so good.
Also known as regular D. That's what I like the most. So
I like my definition.
So anyway, the way that it dopes out in this is that she goes, whatever, goes, oh, this must be your bedroom in here. And he's like, no, don't go in there. And then she sees all the James Brown shit. But I definitely do not. I remember it going down differently, dude. I remember exactly what you said, like walking in on him, getting down, dude, and doing some moves or something, man. Oh, I remembered the other instance, Ben. It was the Terminator, the sound of that laser cannon when the infiltrator goes into the bunker, dude.
Yeah.
Which I am absolutely positive that it used to be the same sound as the repeater that they have on the back of that shitty car in the other future scene.
I thought they said that they changed that. It was like something with the transfer to Blu-ray or DVD or some shit. So like I think that was legit. Like it was changed. Whereas the Bumbata Y shit and stuff is all like
you might have something.
They fired up the Large Hadron Collider and scrambled the multiverse.
And that was it.
There's other people living in our original universe, and we're living in theirs, and I don't,
God, what would it be?
Dark timeline.
What would it be like to meet the other three us's, man? I wonder if we do another show.
Yeah. Don't cross the streams.
I think we'd find ourselves really fucking annoying. Yeah.
Don't cross the streams.
Maybe.
Don't cross the streams. I just be like, fuck.
What if we did like
an
a
asshole?
serious
Shut the fuck
show
up.
about
Let everyone else talk, C-Lab.
Talk about, maybe we do a show about cooking or something in another dimension.
Totally, dude.
Right? Anyway, so anomalies of our dimension aside, we'll just have to leave the Rick Morehouse mystery along with the other dimensional anomalies that we've experienced in various other movies.
As long as we leave it with the statement that he is correct and there is a dance sequence that was deleted, then I'm fine with moving on.
As much as Arnold Schwarzenegger says Boombada Y in freaking Conan the Destroyer, 100%, bro.
Boombada. Why?
Well, then I approve.
Why? So, next bit and or Bob.
Punch him up in the ocean. Like the prom sequence is very prom-y.
I love
fucking beach prom.
I love these movie proms.
80s dancing.
They're so cool, man. They look so cool. I'm like, God, I wish my prom could be like that. You know, they never were. That was the coolest prom ever. Right on the beach, sexy band.
The band, the Charvel star-shaped guitar with the like pinstripes on it and the Killer Tremolo.
Yeah, man.
Thing was
freaking work of art, dude.
Classic.
Totally.
And I hadn't considered it until this moment that the guitarist that bags Denise is just hooking up with like a 17-year-old girl.
I know.
From high school.
He's
Like,
like 28.
it's kind of creepy, dude.
It is. I mean, you know.
Until right now, I hadn't realized just how creepy that is.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It was the 80s.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy. I never really thought about that either, man.
But he gets his in the end with Sandy. She was a little hornball, too.
Oh my God, she was a total hornball. Dresses like Elvis Costello. Looks like the Karate Kid.
I don't know. That's it. That's it for me.
I do have
High school movie.
I do have one.
Yay.
I do have one nugget when we get there.
Well, we're there.
You're there.
We are there, bro. I have one nugget, and this I found very interesting. So, in a lot of 80s movies, there is like, you'd see people drinking beer that had like a white can with one blue stripe down it, right? And it just would say like beer on it. And I was like, oh, that's like, you know, whatever, just movie beer, or they weren't allowed
Like
to
a prop.
use. Yeah, right, exactly, right? Well, apparently that's not the case. Apparently, because of the way the economy was in the 80s, some company, and it didn't say which, came up with this sort of super generic beer. And it was like super cheap.
Like white label kind of
Yeah,
shit.
and it was like a way, you know, for like younger people to a cheap way to get a buzz, man. So it was an actual real alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, right.
And it was used in so many movies, and even sort of like made fun of in the meta way in the movie Repo Man, to the point that audiences started believing that it was in fact like a prop thing. So it is it's not a prop
cherry
thing.
Cigarettes or whatever the fucking Tarantino movies kind of thing.
Yeah, like that's a total prop product. You know what I mean?
Red Apple.
Yeah, Red
Apple
Apples,
cigarettes.
totally. So it's not a prop at all. It's an actual alcoholic beverage, and like I never knew that. And I saw it in so many 80s movies, and I always thought that was like cheesy. It was like, they couldn't afford to get like a real beer. It's like, nope, that's a real beer.
Sure.
I
So
remember
that's my-
like
But it's
the white can with just beer and black lettering, like a bark.
Yeah.
on it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. So it sounds like you guys have never seen that in the wild back in the day. I had never seen that.
I never saw it in the wild, dude, but I would love to. Somebody should bring it back, bro.
Have one.
Have one.
There's
and bring it
there's
back.
some white label shit over here that's kind of like that.
Really?
But yeah. Yeah.
Super-
I mean, it's clever. It's a clever way to like
Be clever.
offer shit cheaper because you don't have to do any of the marketing stuff.
We should make our own.
I like it. It's great.
When we make
kinda
our
cool.
own EBD branded beer, we'll just make a white can with a black label that says EBD on it and a barcode. That's it.
we
It's
were
a-
obsessed with generic shit in high school, like me and my cohort of friends. Like we just
Nice.
fucking thought it was the funniest shit ever. So,
I mean, it is.
and we just,
So you have
dude,
seen it in
it's
the
so
wild?
generic. Like
Totally. And generic was lame, dude. That's why it was funny. It was fun because generic was lame, you know?
had we had a
Sure.
joke band called Mr. Band, and
Mhm.
the album cover
That's
the
great.
album cover was just like, you know, a white label that just said band and had a barcode and like a black line. Like
Nice. Any more?
I like it. Generic beer nugs.
Yeah. Any more nugs?
I have a Sherilyn Fenn nug.
Ooh, oh, I like that. Go ahead. What do you got?
I tend to just like have a quick peek at the cast members trivia sections in IMDb because you never know.
Show
And dude, like most people on IMDb, even like really famous people, only have like between 2 and 10 nugs, and she had like like 100 nugs. Like I don't know. I've never even heard of this fucking woman.
This
Like
is-
I wasn't super into Twin Peaks or whatever.
This is on her,
But-
or on the movies.
her IMDb page.
Okay.
But her dad was Alice Cooper's manager for 13 years, which is kind of random. But she was she dated everyone under the fucking sun, every famous person, and I guess she and Johnny Depp were an item for a while. And the nug is that her name is scrawled across Johnny Depp's helmet in Platoon, which I thought was kind of a random.
What?
throwback.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. She was the it girl back in the day, I guess. So good for her.
Huh. That is cool, man. I did not know that. I like it.
That's it.
All right. So
Oh, and my other nug, which isn't a nug, is I'm more of a Ladybugs gender swap
yeah.
kid than this one. Just one of the guys.
That's Danbury's own Jonathan Brandis. R.I.P., bro.
Yeah. R.I.P. Mr. Brandis.
Dude, I'm gonna go watch Freaking Outside Providence right now. I gotta see that movie.
I'm gonna go watch Ladybugs right now.
All right, deaths. Chad had the who is Zab's death.
Yeah.
And then I had the A-Team death because I thought Billy Jane was in like the whole series, but he was in two crappy episodes.
He was B.A. Baraka in 18.
Totally. And then I also had the Himmler death because I did not get
egregious.
Yeah,
egregious, man.
Right. So Ken Tegar was the guy that played Mr. Raymaker, and he was also the guy that played Himmler in Man in the High Castle, and I just didn't get it when Chad sent it to me. So those are the three deaths. Deaths have been a little bit light lately, so
deaths are back.
Boys are back in town.
All right. Would you, Ben? Would you recommend this movie? I know you would.
Yeah, I would, but I don't know.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know how it would land if you don't have any nostalgia for this thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I guess if if you're into like 80s, high school comedies, then this is yet another one. And
totally
probably like it. If that's not your thing, then don't bother.
Not so much.
I
like it.
John Hughes, it's not, but it's in the same kind of camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, look how many high school movies there are.
We have John Hughes at home.
Yeah, but I mean, like
it really is. It really is.
It kind of, but there's so many high school movies, dude. Like you can't just be like, oh, it's like John Hughes did them all. Like he did Weird Science and he did Breakfast Club and a few others, but like, you had Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you had The Karate Kid, you had like all of these, these sort of high school movies.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That was John Hughes.
Ferris Bueller,
right?
Oh, it was right. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's all right.
But he kicked it into a new gear,
Oh, no. I was thinking about like Better Off Dead.
Well, yeah, dude. Better Off Dead, dude. That was great. And that was Savage Steve Holland. That's one of my favorite ones, man. I think just to bounce springboard off Benny, like I obviously love this movie. It's got a lot of nostalgia for me. As I own an actual copy on DVD, but like if you like these types of high school 80s movies, man, or you missed this one and you a child of that era, then definitely watch it because it's freaking great, dude. That's it. Next.
There you go.
Next.
I'm kind of with Benny. Like, yeah, I recommend it, but kind of not at the same time. I Schrodinger's recommend it. If you've got no nostalgia for it, watch it and then send me hate mail because like I'm curious to hear what it's like going in cold because but it's got so much of that 80s tropey shit that I think you'd enjoy it, like
yeah.
So yeah, you guys both said it. If you've got a hankering for some 80s-ness, then you'll dig it, even if you've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're our age. Even if you think you haven't seen it, you're going to turn it on and halfway through, you're going to be like, yeah, I've seen this. And then because it's halfway through, you're going to finish it because,
Okay.
There's boobies.
It's Hey Beastmasters on because there's boobies. There are boobies.
Boobies in this movie. There's boobs. What about the boobs?
I mean, to channel my inner buddy, the hornball. Back in the day, it was like, after 8 o'clock on HBO, you might see a boob, dude. And then like one day randomly, they had that like before movie like contains nudity. It was like, cool, I don't even have to watch this one. It doesn't contain any nudity.
Sure.
So like, we lived for the boobies back in the day.
No doubt, man. It was a highlight of our youth.
The Spice Channel.
Everyone's balls itch. It's a fact.
Slave 2, what are we doing next week?
Benny is not with us next week. We're twofering, and we're not going to do a war movie. We're going to do Ronin.
Nice.
The car chase movie.
Yes, the best. Possibly one of the best De Niro movies. It also has Jean Reno in it, and man. Stellan Skarsgård. the OG Skarsgård.
Yeah.
And Natasha McElhone and
yeah.
Jonathan Pryce. It's so good, man.
Arr.
That's right. So, Skarsgård. So get excited for that, folks. And that's it. Thanks for joining us for Just One of the Guys, or as I call it, Jutka. And we'll see you next week for Ronan.
Steve Ditka. See ya.
Bye.
That's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. If you'd like to check out the show notes, you can do so in your podcast app of choice. We're at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/268. As always, we'd like to take a second and thank everybody that listens to the show and supports the show. We really appreciate it. So, for all of you people listening that would like to help out, you can do so in the following ways. You can support us on Patreon directly. You can rate us in reviews, and you can also tell people to check out the show. All are great ways to help us spread the gospel of the EBD. If you want to check us out on social media, we're on Instagram using the handle @EBDpodcast. Thanks for joining us for Juka, and we'll see you next week for Roman. So long for now, folks.
Beady, beady, beady. Stop into it.